Good evening, everyone, and welcome to CoSM's full moon ceremony. I'm Alexa Spatty, coming to you live from the Great Hall in Entheon, Sanctuary of Visionary Art. How's everybody doing tonight? Okay, that's good. Very good. Thank you so much for being here, whether you've joined us here in person or are tuning in from the World Wide Web. We are so grateful for you being here and being part of this special gathering. Under the glow of the full moon, we unite to celebrate creativity, connection, and the magic of this moment right here, right now. So let's take a deep breath together. And exhale. And let's just release the day that brought you here. And now it's time to step into this space of wonder and possibility. Are you ready to embrace the wonders of the night? Are we ready? Are we ready? Good, because we're just getting started. Let's begin. It is a great honor to welcome our visionary hosts of the evening. Please put your hands together for CoSM founders Alex Gray and Allyson Gray. Yeah, give it up for them. They're beautiful.
This is such a beautiful room. Beautiful
Happy
people.
Full moon, everyone.
Happy full moon.
I mean, remember the first full moon back in January
of 2003? Yes.
Yeah.
We've been doing full moons. This is the 273rd in an unbroken chain of consecutive. That goes over 21 years of us hosting full moon ceremonies. We started them in our home in Brooklyn, and January of 2003. So we're coming up to, the next year very soon. But anyway, we brought everybody together. Especially Rosie was there for the first one, and she gets the center front row. Because she was there for the first one, and she and Mike also will be leading the sand mandala tonight, so I hope you get to know them. They're dear board members of ours, always friends. We have people who have been here with us every year for, 16 years, Brian James. We have some really wonderful people behind the desk there. We should just give them a round of applause right now. Why not?
The whole CoSM staff. Really, thank you, everyone.
That was such a beautiful introduction, Alexa. We started broadcasting at COVID. It was a real kick in the ass, and we're really glad we do it because we've got all these wonderful people out here in the World Wide Web. In fact, why don't you all just turn around and say hello to them right now? They're in the remote rooms too. Hi, you guys out there. We really love you. We hold you in our hearts right here in the room. People coming in from all over. We'll get to hear from some of them later. But anyway, we started the full moon ceremonies in our home for the purpose of,
a shaman recommended that we start full moon ceremonies because we'd been telling everybody about this vision we had of starting or having a chapel of sacred mirrors.
A sanctuary of visionary art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so we kept talking about this, but we didn't have any money, and everybody said, well, that's an interesting idea, and so Alex Stark had heard this story many times of this chapel we wanted to build, and he said, well, in my tradition, if you want to get something done, like building a sacred space, it's the work of a community. So we can do full moon ceremonies to help bring community together and empower other people's creative lives, you know, with this general just creative energy that we can build together, and that we hold in our hearts this prayer of creating a sacred space, which we were in our Brooklyn loft. We had no idea what could happen in 21 years, but now here we are.
Exactly. And so we started the full moon with Alex Stark, our shaman, and he stayed with us for a few full moons, but then he sent us sailing. It was up to us to do it, and we have seen him periodically, and we see Rosie and Mike a lot of times, and some of the other people who've been here with us from our spaces in between too, but we never missed a full moon. But 273, now this is the number of full moons that we've had. So we kind of use that as a way to, I don't know, orient ourselves around like what kind of night this could be for us, for any of us, because we're sharing this 273 together here. So we add all those numbers together, and when you add all those numbers together, you get 3. It's a big number 3, and people who've been here many times before have heard of the great number 3. We all know the number 3. I just wanted to make sure that I had my crib sheet, you know, so I didn't get it, so I get it all right. But anyway, think to yourself whether this might have any relevance or resonance for you. That would be. I wanted to say that the great philosopher Pythagoras, you know, said it like this: the number 3 represents harmony, wisdom, and understanding. Do you think we need harmony, wisdom, and understanding right now? Anybody thinking that? I mean, I think that that's exactly why we're here and what we want to manifest, the energy around harmony and all of those wisdom. Very much so.
Body, mind, and spirit. That's a nice triad.
Yeah, and there's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's the sun, the moon, and the earth. That's a triad. But Pythagoras, of course, came up with the Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So he was in a triad. He kind of liked triangles quite a lot. So anyway, that is what tonight is all about. And just keep it in mind: harmony and understanding. And be good to each other and open to all views and all ways of, you know, thinking and living and whatever. We're here to celebrate unity and harmony and be a model of that. That's really what we want to be doing here. Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Allyson. Yeah.
Oh, how about how about the 3 wishes? How about the 3 wishes and the 3 little pigs and the 3 billy goats gruff? 3 bears, of course. All right, that's enough. That's enough. It's a 3. It's a 3 tonight. Well, so
you know, I always thought that the full moon was perfect for the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors as a focal point because, you know, the full moon is actually a mirror of the sun's light, so in that way, you can use it as a symbol of the soul and say that. We're each a reflection of a greater light, just like the shining, luminescent full moon, that we each, you know, because of its perfect kind of circularity too, that was what Plato thought was the perfect shape, you know, and that symbolized the spirit. Well,
the triangle sits on the ground. Like if we're human, our feet are on the ground. But it points upward to spirit. So it's kind of like it describes a spiritual person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the I think Keith Critchlow called the triangle the simplest symbol of the fire. You know, it's kind of the upward pointing shape. He thought that, you know, of the 3 shapes, the square is the matter.
Yeah.
The circle.
Buildings are made like squares.
The spirit. And so the thing that connects it is like the triangle. You know, that's that upward aspiration, you know. And
So that's
yeah.
the number 3 that we are tonight, and the moon is reflects the sun.
the
like
greater
we
w-
reflect,
the greater light of the creator, I mean, it sounds kind of pompous for anybody to say, I am God, but like a lot of the mystics, if you kind of like dig down and look at all the various traditions, like even in the Quran, they say to know Allah, or to know oneself is to know Allah. And so, Meister Eckhart used to say that you can only see God by understanding that you're seeing through God's eye. Everyone. And so everyone's included, including the consciousness that's seeing. And many mystics believe that there's only one self, one great being that we're each fractals of. And as strange as that seems, I feel like a lot of us can probably resonate with that because we've had strange experiences that connect us with an infinite
net of beings.
net of beings.
Yes, here we are. Yeah. So let's start. Our theme for November for some time has actually been self and Godself. And a lot of that has to do with Alex's sort of love of doing self-portraits, and you have a self-portrait room, and you can see a lot of Alex's self-portraits there. But we try to sort of tackle that subject here and talk about, self-portraiture in art. And so we're going to do a little rundown on, self and Godself. What's that all about? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, of course, I like to always call it back to God is just like this word, a term that, and it's got so much baggage, and it's an impossible kind of subject to use words to describe. These higher states of infinite awareness that we recognize ourselves to be part of sometimes, that there is a greater being that we are part of. This is something beyond form, something that can't be represented. Our being that has always been, from the beginning, a consciousness without a name, without a gender, without an age, that has always been you throughout all the cellular changes. Throughout all your lifetime, you've replaced your physical body many times and grown into the being that you are, while staring through the lens of the self and gathering a story, like a narrative, a unique personality, and authoring with your imagination. How do you interpret the story of your life and where you are, your unique being? But that being is alive as a creative spark, just like every other being that is alive. And all the mystics point to the deepest nature of ourself as no thing at all. And this state of presence, and they say great compassion, a love, that is boundless. That is our true nature. That no-thingness of boundless love beyond all form.
I just was thinking about how much we can feel or have the experience of being inside of the architecture of the body. That rather we're something like invisible, a thread that's invisible, the force that animates us. We are animated by something, a force that we become very aware of on psychedelics, by the way. I mean, not everybody here is psychedelic, but I think that many of us are aware of our ephemeral nature that lives inside of this body. I mean, a lot of us who age, for instance, remember being young and don't really feel very much different from that. You know what I mean? I mean, all of us have that experience. Remember being 8 years old and we're still us. We still have the same drives and interests and fascination and terribleness and all the good and the bad. So anyway, I think that we recognize we have a body, but we're not our body. It starts to sag and go gray and all kinds of things, but we're not our body. We are,
that bright being, that inner self, that light is the same.
Yeah. So let's go to the first slide about our first image, self and Godself. Look at this. Didn't we make a nice presentation there? It's Alex's contemplation painting, floating in a sea of X in a cross field, which is my painting. So you can see that, when we're portraying the self and the Godself. I mean, you'll see X in a cross field in the, as you walk into the library, and you can think of the X as you. It's the monad in its nature field. Do you know? The monad is the X, and the nature field is what it's floating in, and you're floating in the middle of it all. You're painting contemplation. Okay, so let's keep going.
So,
the self.
You want to read that list?
I would. The self, consciousness of our own identity, a unique individual, one's own self. The self is a complex core subject of psychology and religion. The ego, the learned superficial self of mind and body. The timeless self, the true self, the God self. So those are some of the notes on the self.
Okay,
What
those
is
are
the
like
self?
some of the distinctions, like Huxley used to talk about that, that there's that ego part of us, like our self-narrative, our authored story, and then there's that,
He might have gotten it from
being
Freud.
beyond.
But look, aren't they just the most precious? It's the most precious time when they actually recognize themselves in the mirror. It's very much 6 to 18 months. They're just astonished, that there's this other person over there, and they're doing everything that I'm doing, and they're figuring it out. I love that. But so it says, infant notices reaction in the mirror, identified as the mirror stage by psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan in 1901 to 1981. He lived, and he discovered this. So the self, according to Freud, the structure or model of the psyche, the id, ego, and superego, are the three distinct interacting agents in the psychic apparatus. The three agents are theoretical constructs that describe the activities and interactions of the mental life of a person, of a person. So that's, and look at this is Sigmund Freud's famous couch. I think that I was looking at this carefully, and it looks like he put 3 pillows in the background. It's basically right up against, you can like sit straight up if you want to, Doctor can sit next to you, I guess. It's a couch.
I don't think he sat on the couch with him, but
I doubt it. He seemed
sort
very
of looks
standoffish.
like the rug got pulled up onto the.
He just got a rug for it. It's just so perfect. All right. So that was his.
Okay, so here's some models of, like his idea that there's that the part of us that's seen in the world is like the tip of the iceberg, and that we really have like all these forces, and like the id is kind of like what Jung called the shadow, so that's something deep in our unconscious and stuff, and.
Can I say something that in the
Yeah.
ego psychology model of the psyche, the id is the set of uncoordinated instinctual desires. Uncoordinated instinctual desires. The superego plays the critical and moralizing role. That's the superego, moralizing. And the ego is the organized, realistic agent that mediates between the instinctual desires of the id and the critical superego.
That sounds so much like the little devil on one shoulder and the little angel on the other,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're between, kind of getting tugged one way.
Consciousness is the tip of the iceberg there. Okay, so Carl Jung, who lived in 1875 to 1961, just to give us some orientation. According to Jung, the individuation of the self means uniting consciousness and unconscious minds, uniting conscious and unconscious minds to fulfill one's original and unique promise. Individuation refers to a self-determined process of achieving personal wholeness, mental wellness, psychological completeness.
The kind of path of the artist is a lot like that, because it's a self-initiated kind of path, that you have to kind of find your own way. Probably a lot of people here have had that experience. It's not according to formula, really. Each person has to find their own kind of personal way in that way of individuation, and when you find something, then that kind of, maybe it becomes your style even. It becomes a reflection of that discovery of that stage of selfhood.
So the psyche is comprised of separate interacting systems, including the ego, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. So you have the personal unconscious, the collective unconscious, and the ego interacting. The ego represents the conscious mind of thoughts, memories, and emotions. The personal unconscious contains temporality, forgotten information, and repressed memories. The collective unconscious refers to the segment of our deepest unconscious mind not shaped by personal experience, perception shared with others.
Now, as far as that goes, that I have been told by practically countless people that they had an experience very similar to this, actually. I don't know whether there's anybody here tonight who's had a similar kind of an experience, but there are recurring kind of archetypes that come up in visionary artists' work, and people may not have seen each other's work at all, but they just saw the same archetype in their deepest kind of visionary states. And it was similar, they discovered then, to what this other person saw as well. So to me, at least it starts to be a verification for Jung's theory of a collective unconscious, that somehow a number of people seem to have these archetypal transpersonal experiences. So, what exactly that means? Are they going to the same basement somewhere? Or are they,
I think they're
I don't
identifying.
know how that works, actually.
I think they're identifying with the vision that you so beautifully and incredibly shared. And I'd like to say also that I didn't remember anybody doing secret writing as art when I did it in 1971, and they probably were. But I've heard a lot more about it now, and there's a lot of secret writing out there, and I think that people recognize it. They say, yeah, secret writing, it's
Maria
everywhere.
Sabina talked about
She
it.
did.
She
absolutely did.
So many
So
people
I say many people did, but they just, So anyway, the shadow. Should we go to the next one? The
Yeah,
shadow.
keep going. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, I already read all these.
Okay.
I just wanted you to know if
These
you
are
want to.
great books.
These are
Amazing.
books that we read when we were very young, and they're very young.
Yeah.
And it made a big difference in our interest in consciousness.
Right.
Okay, so what would you
yeah,
like to say
more
here?
tables. So we can see here this model of the self with the circles there. You've got the self in the center, and across the very middle, that's the dividing line between the outer world up above and then the inner world below. So there you can see like shadow and various things like that.
Ego and shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, ego's on top. So the shadow in Jungian psychology is also known as id, is either an unconscious aspect of the personality that the conscious ego does not identify in itself, or the entirety of the unconscious, meaning everything of which a person is not fully conscious. The shadow is the unknown side. Go on. The persona is the social face an individual presents to the world, a kind of mask designed on the one hand to make a definite impression upon others, and on the other hand to conceal the true nature of the individual. So then we could go through the animus theory of Carl Jung's. Would you like me to go? I should do it.
Well, yeah.
Carl Jung's theory of the collective unconscious, he described the animus as the unconscious masculine side of a woman, and the anima as the unconscious feminine side of a man, each transcending the personal psyche. When anima and animus meet, the animus draws his sword of power, and the anima ejects her poison of illusion and seduction. The outcome need not always be negative, since the two are equally likely to fall in love, a special instance of love at first sight, says Carl Jung.
Ooh.
Got to bring a little Carl Jung into the room. Come on.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Awesome.
So maybe they're transforming here. Okay, that's an old alchemical diagram, and
These are some of the portrayals that artists have made, and I don't know who this artist is. They didn't credit this artist. They should have, but I thought it was so apt. I just used it.
Well, it's the union of opposites. It shows. And we're composed like that. You could look at our DNA strands and see us woven together. That's the way it happened. We're woven of polarities. And so here it's symbolized.
Well, I think that you have used the conjoined faces in your art, a good bit, either the four-faced quad god, sculptural kind of appearance, but then the conjoining of the two sides, one being the feminine and one being the masculine, is a rather, interesting.
Right. In the case of
the
steeplehead, just to complete that metaphor, it stands for the people of the four directions coming together in visionary oneness. That's what the kind of.
It's all about
figure
unity, and
Exactly.
so what you sometimes call them godheads, I call them people heads. They are unity heads. They are unity heads. They're people that are coming together in oneness.
It's an anthropic way of indicating infinite consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay, astrology. This just looks like Freud's astrological chart. It's a different way of seeing the self, I think, And a lot of people get incredible benefit and have seen amazing kind of results out of analyzing.
Well,
You
astrology
wanna
is very
say more
influential to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
I would say that in astrology, the sun sign represents the core of our true self. The sun is the gravitational center of our solar system, and all the other planets, including the moon, are visible to us only because they reflect its light. Our sun placement points to our true nature and our proper path in life. So I don't pretend to understand astrology. Some people here are experts in it. I absolutely hurrah for you. I really think you're amazing people. You have to be very sensitive and intuitive also. But Here's another.
It's like a system. I don't think you
system.
should go through every
I do.
one of
Here,
these.
it's
Really?
fun. It's a game.
All right.
Listen, I'll tell you, it's a game. I'm going to just read these off. These are the 9 different classifications of people according to Enneagram. So just listen to them. Listen to them. It's an exercise. I mean, and then see which one you think you're the most like. All right? We'll go over them. You can always look these up and then change your mind. Okay, number 1 is the reformer. Rational, idealistic, principled, purposeful, self-controlled, and perfectionistic. 2, the helper. Caring, generous, impersonal, demonstrative, people-pleasing, possessive. 3, the achiever. Success-oriented, pragmatic, adaptive, excelling, driven, image-conscious. Number 4, the individualist, sensitive, withdrawn, expressive, dramatic, self-absorbed, temperamental. Number 5, remember your number. The investigator, intense, cerebral, perceptive, innovative, secretive, isolated. 6, the loyalist, committed, security-oriented, engaging, responsible, anxious, suspicious. Number 7, the enthusiast, busy, fun-loving, spontaneous, versatile, distracted, scattered. Number 8, the challenger, powerful, dominating, self-confident, decisive, willful, confrontational. Number 9, the peacemaker, easygoing, self-effacing, receptive, reassuring, agreeable, complacent. So anyway, it's an entire system. You'd have to read about it and know much more about it. But if it interests you, it is an interesting system that people have identified to classify, circles of people. And we know people that are like some of these ways that we love, and we may not even be like them, but we still can love them because they're all very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting, kind of. Oh, you wanted to say something about spiral dynamics? Go ahead.
Well, I will just say that it is a model. This is where you put it up here, so I want you to know what it is. It's a model that describes how people, organizations, and societies develop over time. It helps us understand how people's value systems change as they move through different stages of development. So if you look carefully at this model, you'll see the different stages of development.
I'm going to try to make it very simple. The spiral, it just shows how consciousness evolves, from a kind of magical and mythical to a more rational and maybe perhaps a more spiritual point of view, a more, you start kind of egoic and then you start to open up and include more people, and basically it's like the more you evolve your consciousness, the more inclusive you become, the more world-centric and all-embracing you become. That's how consciousness expands and includes. So, and the charts on the 4 quadrants of being are a very fascinating way of looking at the self. And it basically talks about your inner self, your outer self, all the things that you can measure. All the things that you can't measure are your inner self. And then your way of being in the world, the world systems, and how you integrate with its culture. It's the 4 quadrants of being that can't really be reduced one to the other, and it's a fascinating system. Ken Wilber's system is, I've thought, one of the most elaborate and deep regarding the nature of the self, if you like to dig deeper into this sort of psychology of selfhood. So,
well, I just want to say that the 4 quadrants are very boiled down chart of the way the inner world reflects, the way your relationship with the outer world, and how the outer world reflects its greater relationship with the greater collective. And we teach it in like all of our art classes, as Rosie and other people know. So, it's something to show your progress in, say, your art, for instance, where your art may be just in your head. You have a vision, but you haven't gotten it out on paper yet. Or you've gotten it out on paper, but you haven't gotten it in a gallery yet, or like that. So anyway, it's kind of a progress that you can take a look at in your own life. So the next one is the tarot cards, which we all are familiar with tarot cards, even if we don't know how to read them. We do have tarot reading here often. I don't know if we have it tonight, but we do have it often. And it's an incredible visual, artistic way to read, what's going on with you in your life, in your inner and outer life. And they reveal messages from our subconscious. Images reflect subconscious mind, the language of symbols and imagination. And we are having a tarot. Aren't we having, Perry's going to be, Perry's not here, but he is leading the tarot, create your own tarot deck. And it's just a beginning to start your own tarot deck. But it is a wonderful thing because, we all have our own symbols of our imagination. Do you have anything? There we go. So now we're going to start talking about some of the portraits that great artists, self-portraits that great artists have done. And what's interesting here is that this is his wife. This may be, the first self-portrait of an artist ever. Was 1437, Jan van Eyck. And it's pretty well established that this image, even though he called it Portrait of a Man with a Turban, it was his self-portrait. But artists were basically just beginning to, he was part
to
of a
paint
society.
in oils.
He was painting in oils, absolutely, and he was part of a society where they were being asked to and commissioned to paint portraits. It was really the beginning of commissioning people to paint your portraits, because before this, way before this, no one could afford it, and everybody was only working for the church. But here you were in a merchant society where you had a merchant class that had enough money that they could get their own portrait done or their wife's portrait done, and he did each here, and was a great portrait painter in the 1400s. So we're still in the 1400s.
Yeah, right. And Fra Angelica here kind of showing the God-self. Of course, the Christ is the archetypal kind of God-self fusion, symbolically, for the West. And here, Fra Angelica has done an amazing fresco job with the Christ literally becomes the light. This is an interesting kind of self-portrait of Botticelli, who's like over there in the orange robe to the side, on the
right-hand side?
On the right-hand side,
Okay.
there, kind of looking out at the viewer. He's like the only one looking at the viewer, and but there's kind of self and God-self. There's Christ is like that archetypal light of the world, that is a God come into form, but it becomes this interesting subject in art, here Botticelli has brought space, that's what Renaissance art brought, off of the flat icons. Now they were dealing with kind of real perspectival space. It became a naturalistic kind of space. So a person could exist in the same realm as Jesus there. He could somehow transcend time travel back and be with the shepherds. It was fascinating.
So these are portraits. I love seeing. Is there any way we could move? No, you're not seeing the picture of us. No, just
What?
we are. Okay,
Yeah.
great. That's so great. Self-portrait of Albrecht Dürer. This one on the right was done in 1500, and he was the first artist to look directly at the audience. So it was Jan van Eyck in the 1400s had sort of looked to the sides, a three-quarter view. But this was the first audacious portrait of a young artist. He was 30 years old. And of course, he was a known genius, and the Pope loved him. So he could do no wrong, and he could get away with something like this, which is to look directly at the viewer. Only Christ did that, That was the thing. Everything else was kind of from the side, even Mary. But
it's a beautiful painting that's in Munich, and
It's so
if
amazing.
you get to the museum there, because it's very rare that you'd see an artist who is so innocently willing to embody this kind of purity, a purity of the soul. It's something that they really believed in. Very hard to find today, that somebody would be rooted in that kind of light and purity, in painting. So, but there you see him as a 13-year-old
Doing
how
silver
talented he
point.
was. Amazing. Silver point's not easy for
oh
anybody.
no, it's unforgiving. You can't make any mistakes. They're all visible.
It's
Nothing. You can't. No going back.
Incredible artist.
And here's a self-portrait of Leonardo, and many people do say that the Mona Lisa was his self-portrait in drag.
Well, look, maybe it was his anima. You never know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always loved this self-portrait, of Michelangelo. He does this whole huge, Last Judgment there. And then St. Bartholomew has, gotten his skin flayed off. But who is it but Michelangelo?
That's
So
the word. It looks a little,
yeah. He's
haunted.
a little weary there. Yeah.
All right.
And so he also puts himself in one of the pietas that was one of his late pietas, and he's the hooded Nicodemus here. Really quite amazing. But
Now,
the
do
subject,
you know who Nicodemus was?
well, it was kind of like helping the mother and the kind of descent from the cross,
Oh, the
And-
descent from the cross.
Yeah, so
Pulled him
he was
down.
one of the helpers.
Yeah.
And no, it's really quite an amazing sculpture.
Okay.
But there you see him, and in this conjunction of self
It's
and
an
Godself
incredible
in a way.
sculpture. I mean,
Yeah.
can you imagine sculpting that in marble? Talk about unforgiving. No mistakes. No.
Oops, there goes the nose.
So Rembrandt loved to do self-portraits, but this
Mm.
we wanted to show a really close up of this so that you could see how glistening the oil is. Still like gooey. He was very gooey, and his self-portraits are amazing. Such a painter.
Well, he was one of the greatest, and he seemed to infuse his consciousness in every brushstroke. So it literally feels alive when you see his art. It's
I
like
have a real love for thick paint, thick oil paint. So I love this guy, Joseph Ducreux. He actually did self-portraits using a lot of a number of I don't know that he did all of the expressions, but he did a number of them that were just about expressions. And so the one on the right is yawning, which I thought the guy was screaming or something, but yawning is what he's doing. And it's a self-portrait of himself yawning. They didn't have photography, by the way. We're still talking about the 1700s. Self-portrait, The Surprise in Terror. That's the guy with the hand wide open. And
Fascinating.
aren't they beautiful? This
Yeah,
guy.
I've never heard of this guy, but you found
Ducreux,
him.
I mean,
yeah.
he's so cool.
Interesting.
Okay, so this is perhaps the earliest self-portrait by a female oil painter known today, let's say. You notice we haven't gone back, way back into cave art because we don't know if it's a self-portrait or not. There's no way of knowing, only when we can know it, and that is through Western civilization, pretty much. But Katrina van Hemsen was an early 1500s, middle of the 1500s. She was painting and probably teaching. A lot of women would take other women's students and things like that. That's how they could become and be painters. And I'm sure that they did portraits for people too. You know, it's just privately.
Yeah.
You
Looks
know.
like she had a maul stick there.
She has a
Had
maul stick.
Yeah.
And those of you who've taken Amanda's class
Very
have a
cool.
maul stick too.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's the two self-portraits from the 1600s. Around the same time, middle 1600s, you have the portrait of Judith Leister, in the Dutch portrait, and then you have the Italian portrait, the Allegory of Painting, which is a self-portrait by Artemisia Gentileschi. And we just got to see an Artemisia Gentileschi in the city. It's rare that you get to see these. They're just amazing that women are starting to, people are peeling them out of their collections. Like, yeah, I got one. They'll show them. It's just amazing.
It's beautiful rarities in it.
That's right. Now,
Sadly, but
see, here's a woman
thank
who
God
was
they exist.
teaching. She says, self-portrait with 2 pupils. So that's, it made me think that's what they did. Look how dressed up she is, too. God, I'd have it all over me.
Boy,
I would. I couldn't wear anything like that.
that gown is amazing. And the hats. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, Goya was a court painter, and so he sometimes dressed very finely as well. And that was when he was a court painter. And then later, he kind of fled from Spain and was kind of sheltering in France and did a lot of darker works, the black paintings and such. And so I think this was more when he was in his exhausted phase, and he had been doing these dark paintings of maybe the more violent Godself.
Saturn devouring his son was
Yeah.
part of the Black Paintings series. And he was doing this Saturn devouring his son 1819 to 1823.
Yeah.
So the Titan Cronus, who the Romans called Saturn, ate his son in fear of a prophecy by Gaia that one of his children would overthrow him.
That doesn't look like a good survival plan.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. He didn't mind terrifying people. And his other paintings, are terrifying. He's very, very expressive.
Well, the
and
black paintings have quite an amazing impact, and they're there at the Prado in Madrid.
That's right.
Now, one of the greatest painters, the Dutch painter Vincent van Gogh here, he specialized in self-portraits, and you can see his transformations over his lifetime.
Well, this is the one on the left. Is the the one. It's really the before, and the after and before. I should have switched them around actually, but they looked like they were looking at each other. So, because the one on the left is after he cut off his ear, and the one on the right is before he cut off his ear. But he's such a master of complementary colors and stuff. It's incredible. Keep going, honey.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's say Frida Kahlo was she did self-portraits. That's basically all she did.
Well, she specialized in it,
Yes,
and
she
it
did.
became the central motif, the self, and going through all the different spaces, and of course, really revealing a lot of her vulnerability. And
So she said, since my subjects have always been my sensations, my states of mind, and the profound reactions that life has been producing in me, I have frequently objectified all this in figures of myself, which were the most sincere and real thing that I could do in order to express what I felt inside and outside of myself. So she pretty much focused on. She had a lot of issues. I mean, she had a terrible accident, and she hurt herself, as most people know about her, so that she was in bed while she was painting. It's incredible.
She put the pain back in painting.
Pain back in painting.
Yeah.
Paul
So
Klee.
Paul Klee, yeah, that early self-portrait and then later self-portrait. So it's like, it doesn't have to conform to naturalism to really express the nature of yourself. And sometimes it's a lot fresher.
But can I say one thing about that?
Sure.
The earlier one, he was breaking up space. You could see how he was breaking up the space, sort of like a cubist. Like you take, there's this part, and then there's this part. You look at a face, and he was doing that later on in a more abstracted way, is all I was going to say.
No, that's beautiful. Yeah, you can see the pattern,
Yeah.
how it continues.
And these are his, one of them is a puppet. And the other one is let's see, the face of fear. That's what that means, the face
Yeah,
of fear.
he was going through the war over there in Europe, and so he was able to get the shadow element in very raw, very beautiful. Egon Schiele is one of my favorite artists. I saw him when I was like 17 years old at an amazing show in Columbus, Ohio. And anyway, I fell in love with him then, and he only lived till he was like, 28 years old. It's just
He died
crazy.
of
Yeah.
Spanish influenza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
His whole family.
did a lot of self-portraits, very tortured in a way, and but quite amazing.
So here's Ivan Albright, and there's a young self-portrait of him, and then an older self-portrait. I love to see those, but you can see how he handled like roiling skin, and it just was translucent. It was amazing. Let's go to the next
Very
one.
hyper real. He, and he did no-nos. He did, you're never supposed to use white and black in a portrait, because it makes like these wrinkles and stuff. He said, yeah, I know. And
So the portrait of Dorian Gray. Now, I don't know how many of you may have read the Oscar Wilde book, which I did, and it's a great movie too, but the book is better. But Malvin and Ivan Albright were identical twin painters, and they were commissioned to create portraits that appear in the 1945 American film, a horror drama based on Oscar Wilde's 1890 novel, in which this is what happens in the story. I just want you to know. In the presence of an Egyptian cat statue with supposed magical powers, Dorian Gray, wishes his portrait could age instead of himself. As Gray dedicates his life to evil-doing and heartless behavior, the portrait of the young, handsome Dorian turns hideous and demonic, reflecting his many sins. So Malvin painted the handsome portrait. That's Ivan's brother. And you can see that on the left. And Ivan painted the sin-infested Dorian Gray. And in the next picture, you can see the actor, Hurd Hatfield, in 1845, playing the role of Dorian Gray.
1945.
1945. Sorry, 1945. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
it's a blow up of that Ivan Albright portrait. They really made him famous. They did so much promotion on this that he really became like top of his. And he happened to be an artist who was of means. He didn't have to sell anything, and he didn't. He didn't sell very many things. He gave them all to the Chicago Museum, and you can see the greatest.
Chicago Institute.
Chicago Institute
is amazing.
Yeah, you can
They've
see
got
a great
this painting
array.
There. Yeah.
This painting's there, and it's really great because he didn't have to sell stuff.
Well, it's a very interesting kind of thing. It's got that magical connection of the self and the painting and stuff like that. And, of course, Ivan is just extraordinary painter. And 1945, like wartime there, end of the war. And people
The closest place you can see an Ivan Albright is the
Hood Museum.
The Hood Museum.
Yeah.
In
the Vermonter.
In the Vermonter. It's in
Yeah.
New Hampshire, but
Yeah.
if you're ever going up that way, it's worth it. It's right in the lobby. It's their most famous painting. Okay, so let's keep
yeah,
going.
yep.
Andy Warhol, we
Okay,
know.
some other
Did
self.
Lots of self-portraits.
He says, I'm a deeply superficial person.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Katie Kolwitz is not a deeply superficial person. She was a deeply deep person, and she was really suffered in Central Europe during World War II, and just exquisite artist. I can't get over how much we love her self-portraits, which she did quite a few of.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
keep
a
going.
brilliant drawing. And
Arcrum.
Yeah.
Yes, self-loathing.
Yeah.
One of our treasured comics. Yeah.
Yeah.
and the
Amazing artist.
Chuck Close, early Chuck, over there on the left. These
Yeah.
paintings are giant, okay? They're giant. And so they're very close up. So his name's Chuck Close, and you'll always remember that now. And on the right-hand side, 2015, not that long ago. Alice Neal.
She was 80 when she did her first self-portrait, supposedly. And so this is it. And
Oh, I
so-
said age 40.
No.
80.
80.
80. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
No.
a typo.
Oops. Yeah.
I knew that. But she made. I wish I could have show you Alice Neal's portraits. It's an incredible body of work. She did portraits of everybody and nobody. People who were nobodies, people who were big shots. She did portraits
She
of them
did a
all, but she
portrait of
never did
Andy.
one of herself until she was 80, and she made it naked.
Yeah.
She's probably, yeah.
Amazing
So-
lady.
yeah, so keep going.
Android. He's got a piece downstairs, actually, a
He
self-portrait.
gave us that self-portrait.
I hope you might have seen it. It's if you haven't, it's inside of like if you're going toward the restroom, it's right past Luke Brown's piece, and it's
a little
beautiful.
demonic,
In the
so
nook,
we
in the
put
nook.
it in a nook, yeah. Alice Neal. Okay, so Android and
Yeah.
Amanda.
Yeah.
Early Amanda, late Amanda.
Well, that looks like an early phase of an Amanda, but it's got the
Does.
vision train, which she is the kind of inventor of, and
Well, it's definitely a more recent Amanda because she shaved all of her locks off.
true.
She was bald for a little while there.
Yeah, but an
All right.
extraordinary visionary artist that we're
You
grateful
know
to call a
that
friend.
piece that downstairs, the Anasurumai, is a self-portrait. She said that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And an amazing work. Well, Autumn Sky is coming next year, I
right.
hear. And
Boy.
so she's going to be a teacher here. So look for that. But these are some
21
of her
lucky
extraordinary
people will get to be in her class, I'm
paintings.
telling you.
She worked on that mushroom lady when she was here. And
She did.
Yeah.
It's in the Mushroom Cafe. Look for it when you're in there. And one of them's called Mycelium Dreaming.
Hey, I love this artist.
We just thought we would end the show with one piece each that you may never have seen. And this was a series of pieces that I did before I knew Alex in ceramic, and it sort of burst me into mixed media a little tiny bit. You could see if using different things and getting a little bit looser and in my self-portrayal. So that's what that was.
And let's see, what do I have here?
I said
Okay.
Alison Rhineland Gray because I wasn't a Gray yet.
That's
And when
right.
I did them, I was in Alison Rhineland. Yeah. And this one I love.
Yeah, this is kind of funny. I went to Japan once, and I guess 1996, and it was right around. It was right around. I guess Halloween. Yeah, and I had gone and drawn this 600-ton huge Buddha at this special monastery. It was like a gorgeous. In Nara, if you ever get to Japan or have been there, you know what I'm talking about. It's a huge, amazing Buddha. That's a people pilgrimage there from all over, to come and see this being. So I was there, doing a few drawings and stuff. And I've been studying Buddhism most of my life, and so. A friend gave me some 2CB when I was over there in Japan, and so I had never done the 2CB, and so I had a really long air flight back, and I thought I would try it, and so I didn't notice a whole lot coming on, in about an hour, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom. And I looked in the mirror, and suddenly, I saw Daibutsu disguised as Alex Gray, and intoning a mantra and holding a pen. And so, the that's the symbol that is coming out there, because I had just been learning about this mantra from our teacher we studied with, Namkai Norbu. He talked to us about, in Tibet, they have a sound for the primordial perfection of being. And their sound is ah.
So I really do think that now is the time for us. We all sit, Rosie and Mike are nodding too. We all know this. It's time for us to ah. So what we do is, you just sit up nice and straight, feet on the floor, and you take a deep breath, and we're gonna do 3 ahs. Okay, should we make them individual ahs? 3 individual ahs. So we'll wait for everybody to be finished ahing, and then or they could be rolling ahs, but we'll do the 3 individual ahs right now.
Yeah, and it's kind of to posit the primordial perfection of body, mind, and spirit.
There you go. All right, here we go. It's like if you close your eyes, it's like each
Space outside of time.
If you close your
Space.
eyes, it's like every voice is like a petal. It's like a petal, like a flower petal, and they're all, in different positions on the scale, and we're all making that exquisite harmony. Anyway, thank you for doing that. That was amazing.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And thanks for going through a lot of information about the self,
Well, yeah, share
which
that
really
with
is,
you.
it's like, gosh, gosh, you can go deep with that stuff, but it's, it's at the basis of who are we, what do we think we are, and can we get a perspective outside of our story? Can we somehow transcend it and get at that awe, in us? I think it's possible.
Well, I'm going to put in a little plug. I know Alexa's going to bring this up later, but I just want to let everyone in the room know, and everyone out there know, in the distant audience or in the remote viewing areas of CoSM right now, that tomorrow between 3 and 5 we have Art Church, and it happens every full moon. So if you're out there and you're going to be at the full moon some other time, just remember to try to extend your trip through Sunday so you can join us for Art Church, which is a completely different ritual, really, where we draw together and we share our meditation. So we're meditating while we're drawing to music, and then we share with people out in the world and people in the room. And so you can be out there, and you can, if you're a future member, you can tune in and audit, or if you're a member, you can get on the screen with Zoom and you can show us your work and talk to us. And we talk to people from all over the world. We have friends from across the hemispheres. So,
well, now we're going to have a musical performance.
We are. We're just
Yes.
about to. I just wanted to say that before, but now, because now what we're going to do is we're going to have a set change, because we're going to have a musical performance, and we want everybody to turn around, look around you, find somebody that you haven't introduced yourself to yet, that you don't know, and have a conversation with them, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay. Thank you.
just going to tune real quick. Hi.
Well,
I'm excited. I really appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, it's really beautiful to be here. This is actually my first time here.
As one. As one.
As one.
As
Yes.
one. We learned that in the Aswan. When we were in the Aswan, we all said, as one, and we would all get together. So let's all get together and feel all right. Anybody doesn't have a seat? There's some seats over here. We like to fill all seats. Please come sit down and join us. Please come take a seat and join us. Thank you. There's many seats available. Don't stand there by the painting. Thank you. Come on. Come on in. Come on in, you guys. We're still waiting for some people. They're still coming back. Thank you. Oh, we're so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us back again. We take a little break. It's so nice. Oh, look at people who are in the chapel. How'd you like it? Was it good? Nice visit? It's really awesome in there. So we'll be open till 11, and you can stick around. But those of you who are standing next to that painting, please come away from the painting and come take a seat. Thank you. There are seats everywhere. Let them in. Show them a seat. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody take a seat.
Well, we're super excited that our friend Adam Fitch has come to share his beautiful music.
Wow. Check 1, 2. Hi, everybody. This is wild. I look over there. My face is on that TV screen. This is really something special, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with y'all. What a beautiful space, and yeah, I hope I can offer whatever I can offer to this space here tonight. So, yeah, again, my name is Adam Fitch. I'm just going to play a couple of original songs for now, and then I'm going to be playing in the Moon Lounge at 9:15 as well. So, this first song, it's called "The One," and I guess I would call it a love song, but not in the traditional sense of a love song. So. I forgot all I was taught. Now I'm all struck like an astronaut. Thought loneliness was killing me. Now I see it was just keeping me company. So thank that breath and fill those lungs. And love yourself like you're the one. Thank that seed and hug your mom. And love yourself like you're the one. And love yourself 'cause you're the one. In the spring, the grass grew past my brow. I took out my notes and I asked them how. They said, let the wind lead the way. Be soft like soil and embrace the rain. I said, what if I'm scared and I hide my heart? And I try and try but don't leave my mark. Right then the breeze came through and it kissed my cheek. It was cool and clear and reminded me to thank my breath and fill my lungs. And love myself like I'm the one. Take my own advice and hug my mom. And love myself like I'm the one. And love myself 'cause I'm the one. Wow. Thank y'all. Appreciate you. It's such an incredible, indescribable feeling to play music for a room full of people that are listening and engaging in such a direct way. Like the energetic back and forth of that experience. Like I hope everybody out there understands that for me, I am getting just as much as you're getting. Like there's just this reciprocal nature of it, and I really appreciate y'all, being a part of it with me. This next song, this will be my last for now. It's called Beyond My Pride, and it's a reflection on humility and I guess what's possible when you let go of control. Rain, show me how how to fall more courageously and risk it all for the ground beneath my feet. Rain, show me how to fall more graciously so I can rise to the sky more enlightened me. And if I fall 5 million times, no, I won't crawl my way to that finish line. And if I fall before my time, then I will rise, rise, rise. Yes, I will rise. Trees teach me how to live more solemnly and forgive all whom feed upon me. Trees teach me how to live more softly so I can listen to the birds and bees as they preach their peace. And if I live before I die, then I will sit in awe of this paradise. And if I live beyond my pride, then I will shed my light on every passerby. And I will give this gift I used to think was all mine. And I will share this love that I have clenched inside. Thanks so much, y'all. Come join me at 9:15 in the Moon Lounge, and I'll be playing for 45 minutes, so hope to see you all there.
Adam Fitch. Adam Fitch. Fantastic. Thank
So
you,
beautiful.
Adam. Oh, my
You
God.
know, I was
Wow.
verklempt. You know what verklempt is? Verklempt is when you can feel that emotion rising in your chest, your throat, in your eyes. It's like you're gonna cry. I mean, that's what that describes. All right, so here we are. What are we talking here? The blessings and declarations are about to start. And if you haven't, how many people have never been to a CoSM Full Moon ceremony before? Yay, welcome. And how many people have been to a CoSM ceremony? Raise. Yay. Thanks for coming back. So we're really, what we do every full moon is we ask you all to give us to say a blessing, to stand up, say your name, and then a blessing or a declaration. What's a declaration, Alex?
Yeah, something that you would like to do. Maybe it's I'm gonna lose weight, or I'm gonna start my novel, or I'm gonna, it's some creative goal.
It's an intention.
A declaration could be an intention. Some new habit you want to form, or something like that. Something you want to give up, even. Well, I think that, stating it in front of a group of people, it kind of like puts it into a field. Like, okay, well, that's more real than in my head now. I guess I got to do something about that, And so it gives you, it puts it into the next phase,
But what else?
It's a declaration of intention.
But when you do that in your community of people who support you, we hold your feet to the fire. So that's the other thing that it does. It's like, we see you and we say, how's that chapel project going?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been hearing a lot of that, and
working on it.
We'll go into that later. But right now it's blessings and declarations time. Has everybody been thinking about their blessing or their declaration? Okay. Who's going to go first? There you go. Right. There you go. Alexa's going to choose. That's better.
Excellent. No, please.
No, you keep your eyes open, Alexa.
Yeah. Hold it right up. Right up to you. There
working?
you go. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hi, a little nervous, but I work with inmates, and I'm going to start working with an inmate one-on-one. It's the first time ever, and I just would like some strength to do that. So, thanks.
Hey, wow. What a wonderful thing to be doing.
Yes, may you have strength to go through this and be present with people who may be suffering, and so that you can support them in the best way. Yeah.
Thank you.
We have one right here.
Yes. Tell us your name.
My name is Claudio Lagnado, and I want you to all close your eyes for a moment. I want you to focus on anything that's bothering you, anything dark. And then just imagine that the divine light goes into you and helps you see the light right underneath the darkness, to see the love right underneath the darkness, to see the peace right underneath the darkness and the chaos. I want you to be able to share your gifts of whatever positive experience that happens from this moment on, that you bloom with love, peace, and in your own light and heart, your own individuality within the universal community. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
You want to pick one? You pick one.
All right. Well, how about somebody all the way over there?
Right here?
Let's move around a little bit here.
Yeah, you.
How about it?
I am inviting in my vulnerability.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Short and sweet. We love
All right.
that.
How about somebody all the way over here? We've got Alexa running.
I'll take a little workout. Who are we pointing to?
Right. Yes.
You first?
Yes.
Yes.
How's it going? This is like a declaration update. My name is Benjamin Love. A couple of full moons ago, I declared that I was going to take this beautiful idea to New Mexico. And since then, I've met tons of wonderful people, and am now going to Arizona, to Sedona, to do the exact same thing in December. And I declare to just keep growing this idea, this energy that you guys have watered my soul with, and I appreciate it.
So the idea that you're going to be spreading is?
An art collective.
An art collective.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's so concise. That's so impactful. Thank you. We'd like to know that.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much.
All right. And right next.
Hey everyone, my name is Dan, and about a year ago, my mother passed away, and we've always had a strained relationship, so I think I've shared this before, but I'm redetermining to heal my inner anima and to honor her spirit by doing so. Thank you.
Oh, we support you. And how about somebody, is there anybody back here that's waiting? Look,
I
there's
see one
hand.
waving.
Yeah, pass it back.
Yeah, okay. Here I come. Da 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 da.
Hey y'all. I'm grateful to the Prometheus archetype, and I intend to not let the sacrifice go to waste.
Thank you. Powerful. Who else? Somebody on the way? Anybody over here? Who's got their hands raised?
Rosie's
Here's
got her
somebody.
hand.
Rosie.
And Rosie,
Oh.
on the way to
Oh,
Rosie.
oh,
We'll
yeah, there
start
you go.
here, and then
On
we'll
the way
do
to
Rosie,
Rosie,
and then
all
we'll go to the internet.
That's good.
Hi, my name's Maddie, and I'm in like a kind of transitioning time of my life, and so I am declaring to be brave.
Awesome.
Courage.
So brave.
Rosie has something she wants to share. Yay.
Hey guys. Oh, all right. No, I have a hip issue. Okay. So I resonated with what you said, Allyson, about the unity, but in this country right now, like there's a lot of division. And I posted on Instagram recently, I said some of us are celebrating and some of us are mourning. And I just wanted to remind everybody that the left wing and right wing, it's part of the same bird, and that we need to like come together as one. And I think the best thing that we could do now is just hold each other, no matter what their opinion is, just in the love and light. And think of the CoSM community. We're just such a diverse community of different ages, religions, and races, and beliefs. And to hold that for everyone, that, you know, instead of just getting angry at someone. I have some people that are angry at me right now, which is why it's like raw in me, like just about having a different opinion. And it's so much more important to be able to be in community and talk to each other. And so, and my prayer is just for, like, you know, remembering that we're one. And also, I used to do this years ago, to pray for our world leaders. So, because if we hate them, then we hold them in that negative vibe. So to pray for them that they'll be conscious and more conscious, loving beings, and make decisions that will be for the greater good of everyone, everywhere. That's what I want to hold.
Yashikoa.
Should we do a few
So
on the
now
internet?
we have Katie's been standing
gonna
by with the World Wide
surprise.
Web. She's got it all,
How about I'll hold your
the whole
computer.
world in her hands right there.
That is perfect. Thank you, Alexa. Happy full moon. Tonight I will share 2 of the live stream's intentions. First, we have Matt from South Carolina with a declaration. He says, to live as the teacher and the student, to be fully present and without judgment. And then we have Corky with a declaration. He says, infinite fields of infinite possibilities. Start making choices and watch your transmutations take hold. Okay. Wonderful. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Katie.
Katie.
That was beautiful. Infinite fields. I love infinite fields. I'm all about that.
And thank you to everyone who shared a blessing or a declaration here tonight. And we each affirm that for the other.
Yes, and from here we go directly to.
Well,
What's
you
that?
know, I
that's
wanted
right.
to, I
You
wanted
had a
to,
report.
yeah, I wanted to just acknowledge that this is an interesting date, November 16th. Now, you know, each day is like a portal, you know, and you remember different things. Maybe there are different holidays and things like that. They cause a memory. But for me, you know, November 16th is significant. It was the first day that Albert Hoffman basically discovered the LSD molecule. So he formulated it, they tried it on animals, and it didn't do anything, basically.
Nothing detectable.
But today, back in 1938, it was invented. So it was important in my life, and it made a difference, and so I mention it. Now, 5 years later, he had a voice calling him to mix it up again. That's what happened. Otherwise, if he hadn't heard that voice, we never would have heard of LSD. So I think that's interesting. I think that, you know, that sounds like a religion to me. A little voice whispered in his ear, hey, make this medicine, you know? I don't know. Anyway, okay. So the other amazing thing was, I'll say, Alan Watts died 1973 on this day. Now, he wrote one of the earliest psychedelic books, The Joyous Cosmology, 1962. It was before the shit hit the fan. And he was like a really intelligent guy, and he talked about, you know, worlds opening up, you know, and like people can have mystical experiences and things like that. So it was very cool. And then also on this day, Terence McKenna was born. Now, how many people have never heard of Terence McKenna? Yeah, just like, yeah, okay, yeah, and I don't care. I just think it's interesting. But during the '90s, he wrote some amazing books, and we saw him lecture multiple times, and became acquainted with Terence. We would go to his lectures, and he would tour all over the United States and sometimes the world telling people about psychedelics. He introduced a whole kind of historic narrative of and pointed out like the earliest psychedelic visionary art. And that's in fact what we adopted for the psychedelic reliquary downstairs. And I just wanted to call your attention. We still have a few of these left. They've been hand-painted. They're a limited edition of 55, and there's a few left. And they're not that expensive.
They're really affordable. And it supports, you know, CoSM. Every penny.
But what is this? Okay, so it's a mushroom-headed character carrying a mushroom. Now, okay, to Terence, this was a smoking gun. Now, the guy that took the pictures and published the book that had the image that this was based on, it was in Africa, it was in Algeria, and it was like 8,000 years ago, you know? And so this is the first that we know of. And what's going on here? Looks like there's almost like a telepathic connection. There were little dots going between the mushroom and the mushroom head. So, you know, this is kind of a classic visionary art kind of hybrid being. It's a humanoid and a what? You know, a plant in this case, or a mushroom, a fungus.
It's an image that communicates through eons, you know, through 100-year cycles, and it speaks to you through its own language. It's just you can read it like these people are talking to you from thousands of years ago.
Well, so
this is it. It's coming in here. It's the mushroom. It's going in the head. The mushroom head.
Exactly, and maybe you'd see these characters scampering across the cave walls, you know, and you'd want to memorialize them. So he was also famous for the stoned ape theory, and of course that affected my painting of Adam and Eve downstairs. So this idea that psychedelics may have been important to dawn humans who were foraging around and following the bison and everything. Why are the bison there in all the caves? I wonder. Gee whiz. You know, There is a cave in Spain that has the bowl and mushrooms apparently growing out of turds. So there is a smoking gun in Spain that spells the entire story out, and then later mushroom-headed people. So we have evidence, even cave evidence, of millennia-old cults of mushroom using human beings. And then we see much more formal use of these as well. But Terence was the first to call it out in Food of the Gods,
Right.
1992. Now, let's see. What else did I want to say?
I want to say about
Yeah.
this painting.
Oh, yeah.
This painting was inspired by the first DMT trip that Alex and I both did with DMT supplied by Terence. Okay, so he gave us the DMT. We're outing him now. He's gone, so it's like it's okay. But that's how we got to have that experience. We'd never, had, just never, we weren't out looking, but
Yeah,
we thought we should try it.
In
So-
'93, he sent us a little, like, boy, you could smell it too. Gee whiz. Anyway, it changed our lives. And
this
there it
painting
stands.
came out of that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was what happened to me. I had become, in a kind of hyper-dimensional sphere of light that I modeled after Allyson's jewel net. And
Jewel Net of Indra, the
and this
paintings that are
whole-
on either side appear in the globe. But of course, these pieces were done, I don't know, 12, 15 years earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's kind of like you start at the feet, at the ground level, and it's like the material world. So it's kind of like you go, pop, into the bright world. And so that's what this painting is representing, and we have to thank Terence for
Well,
that.
I thank Terence, and we're gonna close it in 1 second. I have to do the disclaimer, though, and you all understand this. We talk about these things openly because these are the things that inspired us. We're not recommending them. We're not giving them out. We're not selling or telling you that you should or should not do them. We're just telling you the truth about what happened, and that's part of what what distinguishes CoSM is the openness of discussing what inspires us and also what hurts us. All the things, the deepest things of our life, the most important moments of our life, can be shared here without you thinking or anyone here thinking that we think that it's the right thing for you, because we don't. We don't. That isn't for us to just determine at all. It's for you to determine with your own conscience and your own family, your own doctor, whatever it is that you feel like, your advisors. So anyway, that's the disclaimer. But here we have.
Well, and
Alexa
now we
could-
want to do the healings.
We do the healing memorial now.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah,
Let's do
yeah.
that. So every time. So here we go. We're gonna do a couple of prayers. Get ready to have some prayerful moments. Breathe. So nothing there. Okay. All right, thank you.
Well, look, every full moon,
Yeah.
we come together and we think about, those that might be suffering and in need of healing.
They might be suffering from distress or, in their body or in their mind. So every CoSM full moon, we take a few moments to turn inside and hold in our heart those that might benefit from a healing prayer. To strengthen this blessing, recall the name of your loved one as we pray.
Great Spirit, thank you for blessing us with this day and for our precious body and soul. We feel the light of Spirit shining in our hearts, and as we breathe, a glow expands to surround us like a luminous sphere.
The brightness in our hearts magnifies as we join together in a gleaming web with countless others around the world, a luminous net of beings. From the superabundance of our combined energy field, we envision rays of healing light surrounding us and protecting us, our friends and family.
May the light shine on all who need healing. May Spirit renew each soul with creative power to rebuild stronger and weave peace and harmony across the earth. May the water, air, fire, and earth be purified and the web of life be strong and resilient.
And together we say,
Amen.
Amen.
Yes. Some who are with us may be grieving the loss of a family member or friend. We send our deep condolences to all who are in mourning, and we acknowledge the sacred space of sorrow and compassion that we carry for all those suffering on our planet. Remembering the brevity of life, we appreciate the beauty of every precious day.
Almighty Spirit, we remember the souls of beloved ones who have passed on. Cherishing them in our heart, they remain close. To evoke their memory, recall their names as we reflect together for a moment of silent prayer, sending a wave of love from our being to theirs. Together we say, may their memory be a blessing.
Yes. Hey.
Indeed, we get to have Alexa back. Come on back,
Oh
Alexa.
my gosh, it's such an
For
honor
future
to be
news.
back. What's up, everybody? How are we doing? Such great content tonight for this ceremony. Thank you so much for being here. All your blessings, all your declarations. I just want to give a quick blessing to my BFF, TJ Squires, because it's his birthday at midnight. Stand up, TJ. Stand up. That's my best friend. That's my best friend. And it's his man Michael's birthday at midnight, too. So we got a birthday in the house. So we're birthing, we're dying, we're doing all the things. Round and round we go, baby. Circle game it is. Thank you so much for being here. We're just getting started. I hope you feel energized and grounded from this ceremony because we're going to just keep it going all the way to midnight tonight. After this ceremony concludes, which will be shortly, hang out here, check out the art, chat with these two if you want. You'll be around. Yeah, okay, good. Very good. Thank God. They usually are. And but this isn't the only building with special things happening. If you haven't journeyed over to the Gray House yet, that's really where we got some good stuff happening. We have some, well, first of all, let's give it up for Adam Fitch again for that beautiful acoustic performance. That was amazing. I feel you. I was tearing up in the back as well. And so he's going to be doing an opening set for us. And then we have Soma Kirtan back in the house tonight. So give it up for them as well. This is an opportunity for you to sing along with them. Kirtan is activating. You're going to be flying through the roof by the end of the night. So we're really excited about our musical offerings this evening. But that's not all. Be sure to wander about the Gray House and catch some live painting by CoSM staff member Perry Kroger, Lauren Toohey, John Shook, and Molly Chopin. Give it up for them. Yeah. Oh, we love them. We love them. Perry's the one teaching that Art of Tarot class. There's a sign next to his station, so ask him about it if you want. There's a QR code, too. We all know how to use those from the Pandy. Okay. We also have the Community Sand Mandala, facilitated by Rosie and Dr. Mike. Give it up for them. It's a tradition. It's an opportunity for you to take those intentions that maybe you said tonight or haven't said yet and sprinkle them down. It's an interactive experience for all even if you've never touched sand before, this is an opportunity to get it going. And so we'll open that up with Alex and Allyson, and then there will be a dissolution of the sand mandala towards the end of the evening. And why do we do that? Why?
To practice non-attachment.
Exactly.
Of course.
Yeah.
But we do the sand mandala to do a cooperative art project, and it always turns out amazing and different and unique every time, and it's really, really kind of fun, very immediate, spontaneous kind of art making together in a big circle. It's just beautiful.
Rosie and Mike always, they give you a quick understanding of how it is to work with art materials and your intention. So it's a really great thing to be participating in, and everybody can put a little sand into this mandala. It's a group community work of art that is just a symbol of our connection.
Well,
So-
we're making art as a spiritual practice. We propose that it's possible to make art as a spiritual practice, and it's why we have our church, because we all make art in a spiritual, meditative reverie with wonderful music. And but that is also a sand mandala is a group meditation on. I mean, you can talk. We don't stop anybody, but it is a concentration on what you're doing. You have to concentrate
Yeah,
to
it's
let
like
the
your
sand go.
creative intention. You're going to be symbolizing your creative intention, and as a group, then it kind of empowers the group intention that Rosie and Mike always bring a group intention as well, which is always a collective aspiration for something positive. So anyway, we thank you for
So
bringing
many
this
things going
to
on tonight, too.
it takes
Oh
us
my
through
gosh,
the
yeah.
phases of this chapel project. With Rosie having been there from the very beginning, and them having contributed to each ceremonial stage, that the collective blessings become focused, and we can see the power of them actually when one thing becomes fulfilled. We're sitting in a place that never existed except in our dreams, but we're sitting in it. So we can make dreams come true, obviously. This is possible, and this place is a living example of it. Just holding an intention to two people who didn't have that much money. We still don't. This thing is happening because you guys showed up tonight. Good gods. We're so lucky. We're blessed.
yourself a pat on the
We're
back.
so grateful.
Thank you.
So
Thank
grateful
you.
to have you here, and we want you to communicate with us. We want you to continue to interact with us.
Yep.
I'm seeing a friend here who we're interacting with. We met at a festival, and now we're making jackets together, you see. So it's like we do interact with artists all the time, and we want you to be a part of that and to join as a member. A member is a person who is a stand for the future of CoSM. Do we want CoSM to exist in the future?
Yeah.
How many of us? You don't even have to say, you don't have to open your mouth, you don't have to raise your hand, but think to yourself, do you want CoSM to exist in the future? If you do, consider being a member. It is not that expensive. You have access to things and discounts to other things and priority to things, and we want you to have that because the membership is the body that basically is responsible for a church. And if you didn't know that, we are an interspiritual art church. I like to say trans-denominational, but interspiritual art church. That is, who the center and the core is acceptance of all paths to the divine, for one thing, and many ways of thinking. Getting along means we can make something beautiful together, and that is what we do here. We get along, and we continue to make beauty and to have beauty here for the public. So anyway, that's what we do, and our mission, in case you wondered, is the mission of CoSM is to build an enduring sanctuary of visionary art to uplift a global community. And we have been doing that, and we're still doing that. In fact, what we're doing now in the phase of what we're in right now is wrapping this building and covering it with sculpture. This building is going to be a sculpture. That's our intention. And we have pictures of it. If you haven't been into the inspiration room on the first floor that's off of the Entheon shop, go in and see, you know, the building that we're intending. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there we go.
Look at that.
You see? So we're engaged with engineers right now who are designing, you know, the structural ability of this building to hold those sculptures and to take us right through the process of making those sculptures. So
Yeah,
they know people.
Right.
They do
yeah,
this.
he's an amazing fellow that, as we've commented, that is going to make the drawings that, you know, take out the pieces of the, like, here's the nose piece, here's the forehead, here's the mouth and stuff like that. And he's going to figure out the steel structure inside of it that then is like an armature that connects to the building. The building has channel that it will rest on. So it is. It's going to be pieced together like a jigsaw puzzle and like a mask, basically. But this guy is a friggin' genius. He's been working for 40 years on restoring, you know, monumental, ornamental concrete in New York City. He knows how to restore things and to make them last a long time. And he's practically donating his services here because he thinks it's cool, and he would like to, and he'd like to be part of it. And he says, I got friends that are contractors who could do this thing, and I'm going to give it to 5 of my contractor buddies, and we'll see. We'll see. You know, I mean, then it'll get real. Then it'll be like, whoa.
I want to break in and say,
but we can do it. I mean, this was impossible.
We are doing it.
And it's going to happen. So
Pretty cool.
I want to say that now that we have a space to meet and a space to have art, it is our duty our collective duty, really, if you were to be a part of this project, to have a future. And this sculptural exterior will ensure a future for this space. I'm telling you, this is why we do it, is because having the amazing sculptural exterior will be a signal, a symbol, and it will make a place for Entheon in the world of sacred sites. And I think that we should do it. And I hope that, you know, that it'll be completed in my lifetime. But we are doing it. Are we
Boom,
not?
baby. I want to drop the mic, but I'm not going to. It's a
All
mic
right.
drop.
Go for it.
Love
Go for
Give
it,
it up
baby.
for them. They've been working so hard on this project for decades. I'm so gassed to be here. And I'm so grateful for you guys to be here. Make sure to get some snacks if you're hungry. We're not doing a fire outside tonight because there's a burn ban. It's dry here. It's like Sedona, Arizona.
We are having fires indoors.
Indoors.
2 of them.
2, not 1, but 2.
Gather around the fire. Gaze into fire.
So we love that.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions or need any assistance, find anyone with a stash. Find anyone with a good stash. Yeah, no, I'd find someone with a staff badge. And we're here to help you in any way that you need, any question that you might have. If you're feeling like you need some additional grounding or a quiet space, we have a Julio tonight, who is our peer support friend, who's here to really support you if you're going through anything at all, if you want to talk. So we're here for you. Drink water. We love that H2O, baby. And yeah, we kind of covered the rest of it. Join us for Art Church tomorrow. We have a bunch of lovely upcoming events. We have 2 celestial events in December. You can check all of that out on cosm.org/events. And
I don't know if there are any more spaces left in Start a Painting, but you could
we might be full.
You could check it out. It's going to
Check it.
happen in early March, and it's going to be great. But we may have been full up by now. It's going to be.
Well, it's
great.
because you're such a
Start
fabulous
painting.
teacher. So
You know, I
will
did
say.
want to mention one other thing. I mean, it's kind of another way to support CoSM, but is not the the plaque or the membership, but it's something new. And I wanted you to see it at least. And it's the book that we put together over years of time. And it's the Entheon book. It's available down, at least to check it out, down in the bookstore. And at what, 45, something like that.
It's a
line.
juicy tome.
And
462
it contains
pages.
like a, I like to say, the history of our people, from cave art to rave art.
Cave
All right.
art to rave art. That's good. Have you said that before? That's good, Alex. That's good. I like that one.
We're
Cave
using
art
that.
to
We're
rave
using
art.
that. But it also it has the whole catalog of the current show. And Entheon, the inaugural All One Gallery show on the first floor with all the artists featured, and the history of CoSM is in there, a little brief history of CoSM. So there's a lot of wonderful chapters
Totally.
about this place, and it's another way to have a souvenir and also support CoSM.
Yeah. So that's all that I have for you tonight. I'm going to pass it back your way for the final benediction. Thank you so much. I look forward to connecting with y'all. Come say hi. God bless.
Thank you, Alexa.
How lucky we are. Dedication to love. From the core of our hearts, we dedicate ourselves to the complete and full expression of love in all our activities and in all our relationships.
Love is the soul's medicine, a refuge in our hearts, protecting us from utter despair. Finding compassion in the eyes of the beloved and the stranger gives us the courage to endure.
May love sensitize us with care and wisdom. May love help heal the sickness and wounds of life. May love enable us to forgive and accept ourselves.
May love enable us to forgive and accept each other. May love help us overcome our cruelty and bitterness, our greed and jealousy, our ignorance and delusion.
May love rule our hearts and minds, directing us to reach out, doing our best to benefit others, to heal suffering, to give gifts, to create beauty in the infinite network that is our world.
A heart of loving kindness pours creative grace into the world to alleviate pain and mend the heart net. To the healing art of love, we dedicate ourselves.
May any merit generated by this gathering be offered to the benefit and liberation of all beings.
Happy full moon.